Alrighty, let's try this out. These are my proof prints on Amazon. This is the Kickstarter. It's taken me a little while to get this done. I've redone the rules. So this is the campaign book, but I'm going to go through the rules. So let me move this one out of the way. And this is some original art I got done by an artist, not AI. I like doing AI for macros and JavaScripts, but I definitely want to pay artists. I actually got this done quite a while ago, and I just haven't used it. And I've been trying to really, ante up on the graph, like the background, and just get, that feeling or sense of graphics or whatever. So I'm just really taking a look at it. This is just, basic concepts, general setting of the area of Milan, little example of an NPC. Just trying to explain what a role-playing game is here. The game, I rewrote the rules. I didn't change the rules. I rewrote them though, try to simplify them. The original rules, and it's still in the Christians of Space and Apocalypse one that are on Amazon, are more dense and more kind of patchwork. And I just got rid of the whole thing and just rewrote it from memory. I think it's a very simple system, but very kind of a new abstract thing that it's really hard for me to get across to folks. It took me a while to, I just love it, and I hope you can grasp it. And I try to rewrite it in a simple way. It's D20 plus your trait, so it's very much like D&D, but instead of doing a constant number, you're plus 2, plus 3, like profession or skills. You all of those profession and skills, like plus 2, plus 3, they increase the die rank of your die. And when it goes to 12, which is 1, 2, 3, when it goes plus 5, basically, when you get to plus 6, plus 7, plus 8, you gotta turn it into a dice pool, into groups of 5. So if you had 12, plus 12 here, you got your D20 plus your ability scores or trait, which is what I have here. If you have plus 12 here because you're so advanced or whatever, it would be a D12, 5, 5, and then 2 more, a D6. So D12, D12, and a D6. You roll it and you pick the highest. Okay, so that's how that works. Here, let me just get some dice out. I gotta do that right. I can do that right now. All right. Let me see here. So if you're playing this game, right, and you're like, ooh, I got my dude here, and I got 12 die ranks because of my skill, a blessing, a plus 2 sword, high ground, whatever the die ranks are, all of them add up, right? And I said D12, and a D12, and then a D6. Let me just pick out, that. Okay, so that's the die. There's no color code or nothing like that. Although actually you would have a color code for. I would do a color code for the holy die, but that's a whole nother part of the game, advanced part. Okay, so this is it, right? And let's say I just have a plus 3 here, plus 3 for my strength, or my prowess rather. So this is what I'm rolling. But I got a 12. But I have that's exploding. So I rolled a 3 plus 3 is 6, but this is really good. I rolled 22, so 28. So I hit. This is exploding. So that's awesome. I rolled a 3 there. But here, let's roll it again just to show you. Now this is really high. This many die ranks, a 5, 5, and 2, so 12 die ranks, is really high and in the game. And people like this have played like 30 episodes and they'll have that many. And then of course, with you get smarter and smarter with your blessings and all that. And a lot of people will get these high rolls at the beginning of the combat, but it'll obviously diminish because they run out of blessings, as the turns go by. But so pretty much the same thing. I exploded again. Let me roll again just for the fun of it. So here I got a 9. Okay, it's exploding. That's how it's a high. That's a high amount of die ranks. Usually people can get that. This right here pretty much 5, 6, 7. That's 7 die ranks. That's pretty high right there. So let me just roll this. I have had people roll this and roll low. So it's never a given when you have a ton of dice. Okay, well, 20. You get the idea. Anyway, that's the dice pool. This is examples here using swords. Like this one here has 9 die ranks. This one here has 11 die ranks. So sword, bless, knightly sword. And remember, the blesses are pretty temporary. I mean, they only get them if the nun or clergy has enough bless to give it to them, and they'll diminish as the turns go if you're in combat or whatever. Anyway, determining difficulty, that's really important in a game, right? What do they need to hit? Obviously for defense it's 12. That's in the combat rules, but here just determining difficulty for maneuvers, its default is 12. And I just remind you, in combat it's the defense of something, but then 12 is a default. Then if you have treacherous terrain, if you just think it's basic treacherous terrain, or they're doing something treacherous, like they're trying to run through combat, look, like if someone wants to run through combat, they got to roll their prowess, because they're trying to get from one side to the other in combat, maybe to reach the nun and protect her or whatever. And I wouldn't put the 12. I would do treacherous terrain because it's treacherous, running through combat. So I would add their armor save to this roll. So it's 12 plus their armor save. So if some guy's in full plate and he's at D12 or D10 armor save, I would roll that. It says D12, he's got really awesome armor. 4, add the 4 to 12 is 16. So it's in order for him to get into combat and get to the nun in this maneuver, he's got to beat 12 plus 4, 16. What I like about using armor saves for the treacherous terrain is that you can it really makes the armor actually now then matters, like what kind of armor you're wearing, and that how it can kind of increase the difficulty of the number. The extreme treacherous terrain is they want to do something crazy like climb a cliff in their armor, something extreme, leap a chasm that's pretty far, or not impossible but far, or 8 feet, I don't know, 6 feet across, whatever it is. And I use this kind of rarely, but sometimes I'm like, no, this is really hard. This is really hard. It's stormy. It is flooding. It is dark. You are being fired upon. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are 4 additional factors. So 4 die ranks, and then like I said, this is the D12, but that's 5. So and 4 more is a D10. So I would roll this, and a 12 to 12, 24. You need a 24 to get through this stormy, flooding, dark, being fired upon in your plate. Now you need 24 to do whatever it is you're trying to do, that kind of thing. See, so I could roll this and it could be a low number. See, 10. I could roll and get a 6, so 18. So that's what I love about this. What I love is that when I tell them it's treacherous terrain, it makes sense. I just roll in front of them, and I could roll. I mean, most of the guys will have a D6 for like chainmail, or a D8 for brigadine. I think it's D8, or maybe it's a D10, but whatever. Anyway, so they'll have these and I'll roll that. 1 and 12 is 13. So in their chainmail, they just need a 13 to get through this treacherous terrain. And obviously extreme, I would add more factors, and this die would increase. But what I like about it is that I don't really myself determine the number. I do it using basic common sense and description factors that they agree upon, that makes sense, that they can visualize or see why I'm deciding that it's this. And I actually don't even decide. I decide this and this, but I roll the dice and let that decide the difficulty. And I like that because it's sort of, as a 45-year veteran GM, what I like about it is that it kind of takes the onus off me to determine the difficulty of it, make a difficulty number. And then there's other difficulties as well versus someone else. You do a roll off, like a trade versus trade, you do roll off. Repairs, minor stuff is a 12, fancy gear, major, roll the DR and add to the die rank. So if they have fancy gear that has a die rank bonus to it, well made, psychologically bonus, holy bonus, whatever, you can add that to the difficulty of 12 to determine the repairs for it. So these are just basic things. Determining now. Over here is I love this. I love die rank result. A die rank result is not in this game. It's not even for combat. It's just hit or miss, fail or succeed. So that's fine. You can do stuff like that where you just succeed or fail, and that's good. Move along. But sometimes you're going to want to do die rank results. Die rank results really add flavor to the game, and it's based on how well they roll or how much they fail by. And I love this. And I'm just simply, like, they recently did a cooking, and someone had a cooking skill. They had I gave them, I let them find a treasure. This is the Apocalypse game, by the way, or not this, the one I'm describing. They found 11 baby mutant rats plus 1 die rank each. They were very delicious for their rats, so they were plus 1 die rank. So they literally put all 11 in, to cook because they were trying to make themselves a wonderful meal to be prepared for the next day. And same with prayer. You can do that with prayer too. You know, with praying and corporate prayer and in a church or wherever you are. Pull out your psalms and get a bonus there. Anyway, so they did this cooking where die ranks. You know, 11 die rats. She used like all the rats, cooked them into rat kebabs. They had a big feast, and so they ended up rolling. And based on the total roll, which was like I don't know, 32 or something, minus 12 is 20. Then I half that. Let's see, where does it say? Does it say here? Oh man, I hope it says it here. Whatever. Fall by 18. Wait, so it should say it here. Everyone's got an extra roll. Oh, here. Okay, it starts down here. Woo. Whatever one succeeds or fails by versus the equal, then halved is the die rank results. I kind of need to make sure this. Okay, let me do that. I want to make a note here. Yes, I'm going to write all over this because this is the proof. I need to make sure. I might want to put this up here. So I want to put this here. Now I know why I did it in the game, but I know why I did it earlier in design when I was doing it. But I need to. But now that I'm talking here on the video, I didn't even remember. So I've got to make sure I put this up here. But this is the rule. Whatever the thing is, you have it, and that's your die rank result. So when I said she rolled a 32, I'm just saying 32. The default is 12. You know, all these die ranks, blah, blah, blah. They exploded the dice, whatever. 32 minus 12 is 20. Half of that is 10. 10 die ranks. Okay, what does that mean? She's got 10 die ranks. It was a great meal, a great feast they all ate. They get to keep those 10 die ranks, and she splits it amongst the people, right, amongst the other characters. They get to use those now as inspired, like inspired points. They get inspired die, and they can spend them later on in the game for shooting, fighting, bonus, climbing, because they got this great meal and it gives them this great bonus. So they do that a lot. They do that with prayer, cooking, all kinds of stuff, repairs, and all this kind of stuff here. Even the treasure is based on die ranks, and then when they roll the die ranks, they get the roll, and I roll on the treasure tables and see what they get. So I love doing die ranks results. It's just a fun way for me as a GM to, I know it's a lot of dice, but everyone seems to like doing it because it's, the game is about rolling dice, and I like that. I'm old school. I like battle maps and mechanics more than theater of the mind or narrative, whatever, where you don't know what's going on and the GM's just making it up as he goes. I like to be constricted in my rules or confined. Maybe I'm old school. I don't know. Combat, kind of one page. Then here's the damage part with armor. You got the maneuvers. It's one maneuver, one action. Very simple. Free actions they can be done. The blessings can be done as long as it's not helping your own friend. Not so a clergy can yell out, "Oh, I hope the Lord protects us," and gives everybody protection while still maneuvering actions. The only time blessings are an action is if they're rebuking, or exorcising the demons or rebuking the bad guys, kind of a thing. That's an actual action because it's kind of like an attack. Order of fighting, I don't do initiative. I just do what makes sense. If you got a preloaded crossbow, that's going to shoot first. Ranged weapon, spears, polearms, lighter bladed, unarmed, heavier bludgeoning weapons. And you can be loosey-goosey about it. If somebody yells out, I want to go hit him now. Go for it. Roll. I've noticed nobody really takes advantage of it. They all just kind of nod along with what makes sense. And if someone's anxious, it's usually based on what's going on in the story, not because they're some sort of min-maxer or something. I don't know. That's what I've experienced, but of course I only play with Christians. So pain and suffering. All right, this is basically moving on with the combat. Understanding that combat reference, just extra, the nat 1 fumbles, point blank, fire damage. Extra little things about combat that you might want to use. Grappling, epic roll, all that stuff. Headshots. You can do headshots or limb cripple. You can aim for that. And I would ask players not to do this until they really get familiar with this, and then they can they don't have to do all this stuff at the beginning of it. Let them do basic stuff, and then at some point, that makes sense. As you get better at fighting, you start to thinking, oh, I can do this. I can start doing headshots or limb cripples. I can grapple. So I wouldn't do that until you get more advanced players that actually inquire about doing that. I have not role played this. I added this in. I don't really use horses in my game, but I really thought about what it would be like, and it's very similar to the vehicle and spaceship combat sort of thing that goes on in the other one. So there you are. I put it in, just in case. But I have not play tested this yet. Just to be honest with you, denouement is really important. This is really a part of the combat, because at some point you want to start. The game is not about murder hobos. It's about once something happens bad, and if it's going bad for the bad guys, you're gonna want to roll, pick sort of a die rank that you think they are, and then roll to see if they're going to stick around or not. And you pick the highest one based on whoever. If they have a warrior there, it'll be a d6. And I try not to really adjust these based on any kind of other factors. I try to leave it like that. Sometimes I might, but you can keep it simple and just easily leave it like that. Meaning, like, if there's a witch or leader with them, then obviously it's just going to be d10 for everybody, including the lowly, hirelings or whatever. And again, this is the result. So 1 through 4 is pretty much surrendery, and then 5 and above is 6 and 7 is kind of fight to the death. So, and 6 I think is fight to the fight on. But if another bad thing happens, you might reroll it, kind of a thing. And 7 above is to the death. But a lot of time they're hoping that they'll surrender. That's a Christian role playing game. Okay. Life save conditions, and I don't have death saves. I have life saves, and conditions and how they sort of affect the characters. Applying penalty die is very important. A lot of I have grievous wounds. Grievous wounds are very scary and deadly in this game, so I really like to do that. You can get grievous wounds when you get an nat 20 critical, and it can be bad. And if you go past 5 die ranks, if you get 6 die ranks of grievous wounds, you die. Now, what's cool about it is that you can disperse some of those grievous wounds onto your armor save, which will reduce your armor save and damage it, basically. Or you can sacrifice your helmet or your shield. If in one round you get 12 grievous wound, can I let my shield? Your shield is blasted. You don't have a shield anymore, but it was a holy shield. It's blasted. It's gone. But you don't. But you can negate those 12 die ranks. Now, if you don't have a shield, you have to give up your armor save. Your armor, and that'll reduce down and absorb some of it too. So that's a way of absorbing some of those grievous wounds. But grievous wounds are very deadly. And if you do have any grievous wounds, like you're at -3 die ranks, the players do not worry about the 3 die ranks. The GM does it. The GM uses it on his side. He will roll it. 3 die ranks is a d8. He will roll it, add 2 to the defense of the villain they're trying to attack. Or what if they're trying to move or do a maneuver, like a treacherous terrain maneuver? I would add those 3 die ranks to whatever the roll is on. If they have an armor save of a d6, right? And then there's a 3 die ranks to the they have a penalty wound of 3 die ranks. They got a wound. I do not roll that. Nope. See, I don't do this. I combine them. 2 and 3 is 5. 5 is actually a d12. Okay, that's how I do that. There's some examples for resists. Women's rules. Women in this game are different. So I am not here to say women can do what men do and thusly women are erased. Women have their own strengths and talents in real life and in this game, and I don't want to erase that. So very important. I don't want women running around with battle axes. I want them to act like a woman in this game, and I want women to play women, and I know they want to play women. They think they want to play battle axes. They think they want to play Conan, but that's lame. So boring. Everyone's playing Conan. That is so stupid. Pagans are stupid. Just come out and say it. Power of prayer. That's the whole die rank result thing. Passing of day and night is kind of up to you. Trade, cost of weapons. Oh, here's the die ranks, and then just the example of the pool, the dice pools, and the remainder. Division by 5. So it's simple, I swear. But what's great too is like this solves your level problem. I don't have levels, and I don't have you hit 10th level, you can't play anymore. I have my Christians in Space game is now at 70 episodes, same characters and new characters, and you could bring in an absolutely new player, totally fit right in, totally fine, works. What the dice pool does, when you get sort of this sort of dice pool crazy, this is like a high level with all these die ranks, with 13 die ranks here for their gun or battle axe or whatever. Granted they can roll and generally get hit. Oh, see, but that's a 10. plus 2 or 3 with their strength, or 4, 14. See? So you can roll low. Even with, like, when you're an awesome barbarian with a battle axe or whatever, or a holy knight with a battle axe or a great sword, you can still roll 13, 14. That's generally a miss, because 12 is normal for defense, but a lot of their villains are going to have armor or good defense or creatures or whatever. The armor is separate, by the way. The defense is based off of them dodging, like their awareness, a shield, a helmet, and that's it, actually. So if they hit, then you reduce their damage by the armor save. Anyway, so a high level dude can still miss and can still be hurt by low levels in this game. And there's no levels. More terrain test examples. So here's the power of faith. This is how you use the blessings. And I try to really simplify the explanation of it, but you basically get faith points. You get faith points based on your spirit, and then you can do die ranks. You can have 5 die ranks. You can have a spirit of, say, 5, and then you roll this 4. You get 9 faith points for this encounter. That one's done. Next encounter, start over. 5 plus 12, 17 die ranks that you can use for this combat encounter, or whatever the stressful encounters. Every encounter you get new faith points, and they run out of them. Trust me, they use them up. The deluge is, how many do you want to affect? I want to affect 2. All right, that'll be 2. That's a d6. You affect 3 people. Okay, now that they would declare them all beforehand. By the way, the deliverance is generally first. I want to give 2 protection. All right, that's 1. So see, there we roll the 1. 1 protection for 3 people. Guy roll the 3, and then duration, let's say, is the same 2 faith points for 6 turns. So everyone gets +1 to their defense, or 3 people get +1 to defense for 6 turns, and that was 6 faith points that this person spent on that turn. And this is a free action because they're yelling out, "Lord, protect us!" Protect us, Lord. And so 3 people hear it and feel the protection and get the +1 for 6 rounds. Okay, that's how that works. You spend die ranks. You spend your faith points on how many deliverance. It can be a 1, which is a D4, right? It can be 2, which is a D6. D3 is a D8. 4 is a D10, and 5 is a D12. I'll put those dice over here, actually. Okay, those are the main dice, and then there's your nat 20. Okay, so, and you can do duration, duress, distance. And it's almost like for everything. I mean, think of a fireball, which they really can't technically use. I mean, secretly there is a fireball thing in there, but those are the alchemist type of things. But Christians don't really do that, at least not in history. Although I've heard some Templars using some cool fire stuff, so I don't know, maybe they go. That would be for advanced players. So here's the blessings. Bless, exorcism, heal. Heal. I want to spend 3 faith points to heal someone. 3 faith points. Just one person is a D8. Right? And you heal them 8. Whoa. That person keeps on fighting. So that's the clergy, and then there's the blessings of the sisterhood, and I see an angel is epic. Basically, whatever faith points they have, they faint, an angel appears, and they spend it on duration only, and then like attack and damage. So she has 10 faith points. She says, I spend 5 on duration and 5 for their strength, So it is 5 for duration, 7 rounds, and then they get this plus this to attack like the enemy. First turn, 12. I don't know if that hits unless the person, so they may have missed. Let's say second turn, 18. Okay, they hit, and then this is the damage, holy damage, 8, and they can't, there's no armor save, no nothing, just take the 8. So that's how sort of an angel kind of works. And we got here, where's Marley going? We got the paladin. The paladin obviously has their glory, some stuff like that. And then here's the glory points. So glory points explains how you raise up your character, or how you get glory points, and then kind of the basic stuff that you can raise for the glory points. And then there's going to be more here later on. But you show up to play, you get 1 glory point. Converting non-believers, 1 glory point. Defeating a new foe, 1 glory point, hopefully in surrender. Uncovering a pagan plot, a glory point. Defeating, exposing, or stopping that plot. Setting up a church. Spending time in church to build it. Those all get glory points. And, you have a running total, and then you have the amount that you haven't spent. That's in the character sheet right there. And traits can be raised. Your prowess, your here. Where's the character sheet? I made a new character sheet. Let me just go to that real quick. Where is it? Where's the character? There it is. Or well, it's not new. So yeah, prowess, awareness, savvy, spirit, intellect, society, right? Plus it's equivalent to D&D as far as like +2, +3, +4. Prowess, is how well you use your strength and your physicality. Awareness, I believe in awareness, not dexterity. Just because you're a gymnast doesn't mean you're going to be a good locksmith, or a thief. Awareness to me is more the factor in that. Savvy is for knowing like locks and picks. Awareness is more for dodging, stealth, even climbing. I allow either one. Savvy is more for like, locking items, repairing, tools, maintenance, that kind of stuff. And intellect is crafting, making things, cooking. Spirit is obviously, it's courage. It's also perseverance and pain. Same with prowess, either one. Like resisting pain or poisons. Intellect is, all the society is wit, dance, singing, performance, all that. So these are all the traits, and you can obviously under glory points, you can increase them. If you have a 3 and you want to go to a 4, it costs you the total of both, which is 7 glory points. So it's expensive. And after 5, I think I think I have a rule here where if you, hope I have it in here somewhere, where if you go above 5, approximately 5 should be the maximum in a normal setting. If you go above it, then I would require them to take off 1. I don't know if it's in here or maybe I just homebrewed it myself. But that's the thing. You all need to know about making games, that there's always changing the rules and adjusting based on what you want. So be aware of that too. I can't cover everything, No one can. And I've even saw Dungeoncraft recently made a video where he said that very thing. That all those D&D creators, Gary Gygax, everybody, even after they publish something, they start changing the rules, or start playing it a different way. All right, adding a skill is you can do glory points. Vitality is your hit points. You want to go up that. Faith points. You want to increase that. Making a missionary. Your 6 straight skill options explains how to do skills and skills. And here's examples of skill, like the traits and their skills that you can kind of work with or understand about. But you can make up your own too. You can make up any skill you want. And when you do something that doesn't have a skill, just use the trait bonus, whatever it is. It's not like you can't do it. You just get your trait bonus for it. And then this is basically the classes, but I am not that strict on the classes. This is kind of meant to be for these classes, but a nun could go do this if she wanted, But again, I would hope not, because it's not really accurate to what women do. Mercenary, and obviously the Holy Knight and the Mercenary could do the either of those skills. These are just suggested skills and how they kind of work. Scout calling skills, if you want to be a scout. No one's ever played a scout. Kind of sad. I keep putting it in there, but no one's played. Okay. I take that back. A couple of guys did play it early on playtesting, and they were fine. They work great. Clergy calling. So these are skills they could obviously get. Here's the sisterhood skills they can get, and this here is a woman's touch, and these have a direct result kind of a thing to them. So, and the direct result helps others, right? Ladyship, and she can get the woman's touch as well. It says right here. Advice to all is just how you should be playing this game, like proper etiquette. This explains the character sheet. How you can do that. And then here's the gear that you want to get. And I don't really have like a buy system. You just kind of pick what you think would be appropriate for your characters. There's the weapons, armor, and the weapon styles are optional. That the characters just focus on the damage, and then as they get better and better at playing, they can start learning this stuff, incrementally. And that's true too. Like you wouldn't know your dagger is lethal 4. It means if you do 4 points of damage, you actually anything above that will do a grievous wound. Due to the small piercing aspect, if number or more damage results after armor save, add a 1 die rank grievous wound. Oh, I made it scarier. Or maybe I'll leave it like that. I make it where it's above that number. Let me make a note of that, because I might. scarier. Now that I noticed it, and it's optional, but so if you do say 6 points of damage of it with a dagger above the so lethal's 4. So the 2 above it is 1. Okay, let's say you do 8 points of damage. Like you have a really now you can't do 8 points because it's D4, right? You don't add your prowess to the damage either. You can only get 8 points of damage if you either increase this. You can increase this with your glory points. So that's 1 die rank. You can increase it to 2 die ranks, which is a D6. 3 die ranks, it's 3 glory points. To a D8, to a D10. You got to do it incrementally too. But let's just say they do 8 points of damage. Lethal 4. So that's 4 over the 4. Half of that is 2. That's 2 die ranks grievous wound. And bleed. So they're bleeding to death. So, and most people only have about 10 hit points of damage, 10 or 12 vitality. And so they could bleed to death pretty quickly. And then 4, and if they have negative 2 die rank wound, that's pretty bad. That's a gash or a piercing, a stab wound. So they're bleeding to death. They have to basically stop everything they're doing and deal with that before they bleed to death. So yeah, scary. This is the gear, and it explains to you how much you carry and all that. How much you can carry and points for. And that low rule I like. If you you have lanterns and oil. If for some reason you're looking around and you fumble, you might expend. You can put down low on the character sheet, and if you don't change that, the next time you maybe get a penalty for that, you might have 0, like it's broken or gone. But if it's low and you go back to town, then you can say, oh, I replenished this. Okay, take off the low. So that's kind of a handy little quick thing to do. Grandmaster. This is names. Let's do a name real quick. All right, you find someone. Oh, here. Let me start from here for the fun of it. So this is not other characters you can add that they're going to encounter. 6. Okay, hired hand, some freedom, mercenary, traveler, adventurer. Okay, let me see what the profession of this hired hand is. 2, butcher. Okay, hired butcher, rotted, smelly animals, stockade, salts, refuse, awful, and awful. Okay, and let me get their name, which would probably only be 2 syllables. 1, Max. 13, Maxil. Maxil the butcher is walking across the street. Oh, let's see what the conversion level of Maxil is. 4. He's a very rough character. Where are the conversion levels? They're here somewhere. I'm just skipping all of this right now. Go to the conversion level. I don't even remember where I put it. I've got it. It's here somewhere. Oh, it's at the end of this. 4, neutral evil. Neutral evil, very suspicious, cautious, defensive, prone to outbursts of violence than shame. Something calamitous or profitable could sway them to more evil. Their anger is destroying them. Will they be called to freedom? They have +2 die rank resistance to preaching, to evangelism. Okay, so that's it. Maxwell is a jerk. Paganism, this is my rant on paganism, church activity, just give you a basic view of the church. Was that the gaining glory points during rest? This is just sort of maybe there's something here you could do to gain glory points. And if the church is doing really well, you could get a bonus to that. So having churches in the area is really helpful. This is village, this is for the GM, just help them guide you in creating sort of an area where there's a part of a village or part of a town, or like on the outskirts of it, or in the middle, wherever the mission or encounter is going to go. And then this is on the outskirts. And again, these are all guides. If you already have a great idea, then you don't need to roll any of this. But if you want stuff to guide you and give you just ideas on what's around, you can sort of prep with this stuff and just help to roll it out. And I'm using it quite a bit in my adventure making to help me. And this is the way to help you. And I've added a lot more to create a pagan plot. I don't mean hex crawl like you go through hexes. I meant curse. So I'm being silly here with this pagan hex crawl. The local pagan activity. Here, let me just do it real quick. I'm going to do the maximum D12. So you could start off with beginners and just do a D4, because it's 1 through 4. But I'm going to be crazy here. So a 1. Okay, runs and owns statues and groves where trinket offerings to local spirits or ancestors are placed. All right, let me do the motive of this person. 9. Finding demonic power, realize his own damnation, and are obsessed with tyranny and deception even unto themselves. Oh boy. So all these statues and groves where trinkets, offerings to local spirits or ancestors are placed is very evil. Now this is meant to be high level because I rolled a d12. 3. Vengeance. Ooh, they hate somebody. They want to, blah, blah, blah. And okay, where are they situated? Let me roll. 11. Cave or old mining network. Yeah. See, they got all these groves or statues and stuff. They look kind of scary, maybe, and demonic, and they're out to get somebody. And maybe the images of the statues look a little too much like the mayor, or something. This is just to help build out that mining network. But let's just roll it. 4. Pagans have taken over area, whether locals or field folk are supportive. So like the minings, more established security, reinforced defenses, somewhat organized way of entering, exiting, planned movements. And then extent of the direct. 4 again. Entrance hall. So this gives you maybe these are things you could add to the entrance hall. Entrance, hall, ritual rooms, guards, priests, slaves, leader, support rooms, supply and treasures. Enforcers. What do the enforcers might look like? 12. Yeah. No. Ritual enforcement. This adds a ritual that will strengthen the enforcers. Reroll d12 again to denote which gain this ritual. The enforcers will be known for their ritual enhancement, but it may not always be ready, having to be prepared to be a ritual. If this were rolled more than once, enhance and add a second ritual. Drugs, possession, creepy parties, and the such lend to more obsessed, crazed, and fervent enforcers. 2. Local goons, weak minions who act tough and are generally paid or offered, usually cheap and tawdry. Okay, so you got that, but they're going to be drugged up, maybe fight to the death, or it gives them an extra die ring to their attack, or an extra die ring to their damage, whatever scary thing you can think of. Enforcer enhancements D12. And I can stop there, but let me just go on. And that's 2. Nothing. Move along. Okay, fine. Great. Enforcers of the leader. Okay. Now, more adventure ideas. This is kind of a one-off thing that's sort of I kept from the old book, but I just wanted to keep it and add it somewhere. I probably should move this over here because it's really a side thing. But let me just do it. 7. So there's a local plague that has made all the rats rabid, zombie rats, an unusual size. So you can throw that in there somewhere. Just, maybe there's a farm out in the outskirts that you want to do, abandoned farm or something. But this here now is the family-friendly pagan. This gives you just a descriptor of clarification of what they're doing with those the grove and the statues and the vengeance and the demonic desire. 7. Ruining others' crops. There we go. Property, wealth via potions, rituals, curses, vandalism, criminal activity. Okay, so the whole goal of this is to destroy maybe someone in the area that has a farming network or something, and and maybe they're destroying it and getting people to these places where they put the statues or whatever. Maybe it attracts the zombie rats, and then those go and ruin the crops. Huh? Yeah. See? Ba-doing. All right, that's enough. I could add another side quest here, but let's move on. See, just made some cool story. So local disposition, pagan activity examples. Power of evil. So this kind of goes over witches and sorcerers. And let me give you a witch name real quick. 14. Ba. 16. Ba-re. 7. Barieth is quite a pain in the buttocks. Okay. So you have witches. This explains kind of the things they can use and do. And, I am not doing like D&D spells like prismatic spray or whatever. I was reading Clark Ashton Smith, and I think that's where they got that from. But anyway, I'm not doing that kind of stuff. And the reason I'm not doing that is because I want it to be more based on church history and what I read of pagans and what they kind of do and what witches do today. This kind of stuff. So, and it all, spells anyway for D&D and this, it all boils down to, hit points, penalties, dying, conditions. So it's kind of in the end, the same thing. They just throw a bunch of pageantry on it, but I keep it pretty simple. So this here is me kind of giving into creating like a wizard, a magician. And I did it based on like reality, like a poisonous cloud. That can be a real thing. A flashbang, a blinding light. See, this is like a spell to someone in the Dark Ages, but to, you and me kind of know what it is. Magic tricks, sign of the gods, but it's just some sort of an illusion thing. And what's interesting about the faith points for a magic tag, it's not about your spirit, it's actually about your intellect or savvy or whatever, or your social. So your faith points are actually prep points. You're prepping this stuff, right? Fireball, just using. It looks like magic, but it's Greek fire or oil or a flamer, whatever it is. Okay, so this kind of gives you a rundown of like possible magicians and wizards you can use in the game. And I mean, I guess the Christians could do it too. I don't really want them to personally, but if they did do it, if they did fight off the bad guys with the fireballs, I would make the locals go, "Oh, you worship a fire god. You're a demon fire." Give them a hard time about it. And then this is going into beasts and creatures and kind of a basic list of what they are, their strength and stuff. This is like extra abilities, like charging, pack attack, just examples of what you can add to something. And here's my bestiary, my creature codex. So obviously these are scary. A bear is freaking scary. A bear is as scary as an owlbear or as a troll. I mean, think about it. That can kill you. If a bear doesn't kill you, it will not make. What's it saying? What doesn't kill you will make you stronger. Except a bear. A bear will just kill you. Yeah. Anyway, role playing, cult warriors, the horned ones. But they're just. So I'm trying to say, look, we can have our humanoids, our goblins, but in truth, this is where they, pagans are dressing up and pretending to be those things, and they can be. You can like make them just as scary and creepy as any D&D race, not species, race. So I'm using primordial. Oops, I'm really trying to push the primordial dragons. Here we go, dinosaurs. Yep, dragons. This is the way you can teach kids that there were dragons. About creation. This is all biblically adherent in creation science. I'm trying to use like prehistoric primordial creatures based off fossil records and stuff like that. Now these are like feral possessed. They could be drugged. They could be demonically possessed. Why not? I mean that's biblical. So you can have these scary beasts. Like that previous plot where the rats, maybe they were demonic possessed rats. There's plenty of that in hagiographies of the old missionaries. Cave folk made these kind of scary dark dwellers. See, made forest nymphs and trolls, people hiding and living crazy lives down there, and this is I've seen this on Google. These crazy looking pagan dudes wearing these things, troll guards and stuff, witches and examples of witches and what kind of spells they have. And again, you can make up your spells too. You can kind of come up with your own. Just kind of keep it a little simple and what they do with it, and they really only get a couple off, if they're in an encounter anyway. Pretty basic stuff. Werewolves, see? Got werewolves. Wood elves? Huh? Wood elves, there they are. And I give them strengths and weaknesses based on that kind of stuff. You kind of make up your own stuff. Skull cult, see? Got plenty of humanoids. Undead, demonic evil spirits. You can push these. Ogres, giants. I got they're biblical. A football player and an NBA player are giants. Okay? So, and I think that there were really big dudes back in the day. I would say primordial gorilla-looking dudes or troglodyte demon cave beasts, primordial cave drakes. I just went for the red giant rat mutant. Maybe there's an ancient primordial beast. Why not? And a Siamese twin, gone crazy, angry, hates the world. And then of course demons. I wanted to do some traditional demons. Why not? We believe in demons, so. And this is just an example of using the map pieces. All this stuff is available like on my Subscribestar, or I think you can buy them on my website, but they're all digital, WebP files, so you can mix and match and create your own little dungeons. And I have a bunch in here and a bunch in my other books showing you how to use it and all the different traps and things you can use with them and basically simple stuff. I gotta fix that line right there. Yeah, fix the line, see? Did not see that. I have been staring at this file for several months now, and I just can't see it anymore on my computer screen, so I got to go through this book and do it. So here's another example of just making a dungeon, having fun. I do this on Foundry. Move it around, make them on there. And this is me helping you create some more stuff if you want to just roll out stuff and get some ideas. Making catacombs. This is treasure. Doing treasure. Finding treasure. What happens is... Oh, here. Main table salvage. It's a die rank result. So when they roll, you say the area is a 12, or maybe the area is really dark, dirty, very rocky, like there's rocks jutting everywhere, like a dungeon, but it's all very rocky. And so 3. All right, 3, and you say that right in front of them. Roll it. 5, 12, 17. You need to beat a 17 to get a die rank to roll here. Now, what does that mean? A 17. All right. So let's just let's have fun with this. Let's just say one of the characters did a bunch of die ranks, right? 13. 5, 5, and 3. 13. They added. They're searching. They did a bless. We a torch. They got a lantern going. Okay, it's a die rank. They have some skill in salvage and searching. Okay, fine. 3 die ranks there. That's their skill. They're gonna add blessings. They're gonna add their inspired die from their meal, their great meal they had the night before. So because they really want to find something, So, but I rolled a 17. It's really hard to find something in this area. You really want to spend it on it? Yeah, we know that. Whatever. Oop, what did I roll? Ooh, exploding dice. Okay, that's exploding. There. All right, so let's add that together. That's really hard. 25, 30, 34, plus let's say 3 for their awareness. 37 minus 17, 20, 10 die ranks. What's 10 die ranks? 10 die ranks. There's 5 and there's 5. So they get to roll both of these. And I'm going to say they get 2 rolls. And yeah, 2 things. A 4 and a 1. See, choke. But that's the way it goes. Pouch of denarii they find, and 4. Local stolen resources, cart worth. So cart worth of, food or something that if they go to town, it'll help them. Oh man, I really want to. Well, that's what you find. All that stuff. So that's the way it works. And you can come up with other lists like this or your own, and then a lot of these will, explode out to here. You can also This is another way of doing it too. So just so you know. So you can add more stuff. The one shot or mini shot. This is a way that they're searching for treasure, like in the previous one. But instead of getting treasure, they get glory points, inspire die, because what you're doing, because they got the treasure, or because they destroyed the pagan items and whatever. What they're doing in this one shot or mini shot is trying to get glory points before the finale, so they could fight the bad guy. So they're trying to raise up levels. In this one, you don't have to go back to church to spend your glory points. You can spend them immediately. So it's kind of a fun little way of doing a mini shot. This is, I've decided to do some, give you some encounter tables so you can get all the creatures and roll and see about, encounter table. Just showing you an example of that, some example characters. And then this is reference. This is me condensing stuff at the back there. Conversion level, the name, making the names. This is the people, NPCs again. This is maybe you can decide what kind of pagan they are. Like like their trappings, like what they kind of wear or look like. There's your combat stuff here, and then afflictions and stuff back here. Weapons, just handy to see the stuff. And the blessings. I condensed them there. The blessings and the bad stuff here. That's it. This is all from Amazon. So it's a it is a rules light game. It's rules light. The die ranks, the die rank results. You just have to get that understood. And it's certainly not as easy as a lot of those other games. That's for sure. I will say that. But I don't know. I just stupidly love this, and it's about fellowship. Too. It's about getting together with your church members and playing a cool game where you can actually evangelize in the game. You can fight too and be heroic, and everyone wants to do that. Wants to have the sword and feel like they're fighting and being a holy knight and all that. And same with kids. Kids can play this too. You just have to kind of guide them along for a little bit. And I was like, I don't know if it's too hard, But kids, when I was 10, 11, I worked my tuckus off to, where are they? Sorry if I can't hear me. Hold on a second. I'm trying to find them. So when I was a kid, I worked my, look at this. I obsessed. Look at that, the small print. I worked so hard as a kid to understand these games, and and I had this to work with, to learn. So I think I'm okay with the amount of rules that I have, the rules that I have in this book, and I think this is complete too. You just have to kind of understand it, get it going, and create your own adventures and fellowship. And yes, this can be a ministry. If you get good at this with your buddies in a fellowship and just play and have fun, you're actually teaching yourself the evangelism psyche. We're not, because in all other role-playing games, you play like a pagan. The Christian, we give up our faith and play like a pagan and act like a pagan. And I think that's kind of wrong. I think we're kind of deluding ourselves. I love that stuff. I do, but it's like, I feel like it's time to stop giving up our faith, even for games. Like, why do we have to give up Jesus Christ? Why is that offensive? But then we got all these other gods that we can play. We can worship Thor, Odin. We can worship all the pagan gods. Zeus. We can. Oh yeah, you can bring that in. Oh, I'm going to bring in God and Jesus Christ. No, that's a real world religion. But paganism is a real world religion. They were worshiping pagan gods at the Summer Olympics in Paris. The witches are having a renaissance. They're back. They're powerful, and we are taking a step back. And I don't like it. So I cannot go back to D&D or these other games. I gotta play a game where I play, and I can say Jesus Christ, and you can say Jesus Christ, and we want to say Jesus Christ. Oh, it's just a game. It's just fantasy. Well, there you go. You've surrendered already. And if it's just a game, it's just fantasy. That's what they believe about Jesus Christ. So why can't you use Jesus Christ then? It's a real world religion. So is paganism. Everything in there is from the real world. Elves, dwarves, giants, those are from pagan religions of old Europe. Why do they get to use them and we don't get to use Jesus Christ? This game, you are using Jesus Christ using church history. This is based in the 6th century, 7th century Italy. And it's hardcore fun. Crazy stuff. I love it. And I hope that you will check it out. I've got this one. It's going to be on Amazon pretty soon. These are the new rules, like just new streamlined. Really kind of trying to explain it better. I have a free PDF on my website, but it's a little older. Same game. I just trying to explain it better. Trying to get a better explanation going. Or trying to rewrite it. But pretty much the same game as the free PDF on my website. But once this is done, that'll be updated as well. So on the website, and but I think I'm gonna move over to Subscribestar. Just stop paying for the website because I don't really. It's kind of daunting to use that thing, and I kind of I need to figure out how to make money off this, like with this and Subscribestar and whatever, and not keep spending money, which is what I'm doing. So anyway, I love this though. I love what I'm doing, and just really enjoy it. And I want to keep jamming and trying really hard to get some games going. I also got a West Marches post-a-pop game going on my Discord. If you guys want to jump, anyone wants to jump in and do that, you gotta be Christian, like a real Christian, not a progressive Christian, a real Christian, man-made to man and woman, that kind of Christian. Very simple. Don't sacrifice the unborn. Those kind of Christians. And if you want to join, that'd be great. You can be part of these games. All right. The game, the game of life. In the game of life, roll holy dice.